Hi readers, me here, and normally on Mondays I do a video called My Weekend Books, which is about the books I've acquired since over the past week. But this Monday is Memorial Day, so I thought I'd do something a little bit differently, although still involving books. The books I'm going to tell you about now I've read most of them. 2 of them are new and I have not read them, but they're all about service members and non-service members who've lost their lives over the past 20 years in Afghanistan, Iraq, or Syria. The first book I would like to tell you about is Ashley's War by Gayle, Tzemach, Lemmon. I do not know how to pronounce her last name, so I apologize if throughout this video I butcher any names or ranks. I try to do my due diligence, but I am human and I made mistakes. Ashley's War is the untold story of a team of women soldiers on the Special Ops battlefield, and in the book it tells you about the combat support teams, female soldiers who went along with special forces, special operations, on missions, so they would interact with the female population that they were going out to see. I highly recommend this book. It talks a lot about Ashley's life. It is touching. It really talks about what the female soldiers on the CSTs had to go through to get to be able to do that job, and the impact they had on the people around them. So when you read this, and I highly, highly recommend it, please remember First Lieutenant Ashley White, Sergeant First Class Christopher Domeij, and PFC Christopher Horms, who were killed in Kandahar, Afghanistan, October 22nd, 2011. The next book is also about a female soldier, and I actually did a review on this last week. You can catch it on my channel. It is Send Me, The True Story of a Mother at War by Marty Skovuld Jr. and Joe Kent. Another book I highly recommend. I have so many tabs on this. This really talks again about Shannon's life and what she went through to get to where she was. And this is one tough woman. And really, really inspiring, really well written. One of my favorite books this year. And when you read it, and I highly recommend it, please remember Chief Petty Officer Shannon Kent, CW2 Jonathan R. Farmer, Ghadir Taher, and Scott A. Wirtz, who were killed on 16 January 2019 in Manbij, Syria. The next 2 books actually. One of them I've read, the other I have not. The first one is quite a hefty volume, but a lot of that is, not a lot of it is notes. It is The Outpost, an untold story of American valor by Ghadir Taher. This is back before I did tabs, so I've got a lot of dog ears in here. This was a fantastic book. And I believe each year on the anniversary, Jake tweets out the names of the individuals who died, or names and pictures of the individuals who died as tribute. I don't follow him on Twitter, but I have seen some of his posts. This book sometimes infuriated me because of decision making by senior leadership, but it was well worth the read. Also about the battle at Cop Keating, Afghanistan, is Red Platoon, a true story of American valor by Clinton Romesha, Medal of Honor recipient. Clinton, I know, according to Ghadir Taher, he conducted interviews with Clinton to write the story of the Outpost. I have not yet read this yet. I just got this in yesterday or the day before. I look forward to reading it, and I'm now able to read more books about Afghanistan. It's still a little hard on the heart, but I do look forward to this, and I will get to this year sometime, inshallah. So when you read either The Outpost or Red Platoon, please remember The following soldiers who were killed at Cop Keating, Afghanistan on October 3rd, 2009. Sergeant Justin Gallegos, Specialist Christopher Griffin, Sergeant Sergeant Joshua Hardt, Sergeant Joshua Kirk, Specialist Stephan Mace, Sergeant Vernon Martin, Specialist Michael Scuse, PFC Kevin Thomson. The next book is one that I have not read. This is by Dakota, Meyer, and Bing West. Dakota is also a Medal of Honor recipient. I believe he told Task and Purpose that he hated his Medal of Honor because he feels that he failed because he could not save individuals. And that breaks my heart. And before I talk a little bit more about this book, this is Memorial Day and we need to remember the soldiers, but we should also consider the individuals who came back who lost their brothers and sisters in war. Almost every one of these books has a list of veterans organizations that you can support, and I highly recommend looking into those. So this is Into the Fire, a first-hand account of the most extraordinary battle in the Afghan war. That is the Battle of Gysgt Valley in Afghanistan on September 8th, 2009. I look forward to reading this. I will try to get to it sometime this year in my nonfiction reads, and I will let you know what I think about it. But when you read it, please remember Marine Gunny Sergeant Edwin Johnson, Marine First Lieutenant Michael E. Johnson, Marine Gunny Sergeant Aaron Kinnefick, Navy Corpsman PO 3rd Class James Layton, and Army Sergeant First Class Kenneth Westbrook. According to the source that I looked up, Sergeant First Class Westbrook survived the battle, but he died later of his injuries. Finally, this has got a sticker that won't come off. One of my favorite books, and definitely my favorite movie, even though it got a little Hollywooded, and that is Lone Survivor, the eyewitness account of Operation Red Wing and the lost heroes of SEAL Team 10 by Marcus Luttrell with Patrick Robinson. I, again, have dog-eared the shit out of this book. I didn't have tabs back then, and I don't care about dog-earing. I know some people think it's sacrilege, but my books are well loved. Again, this is one of my favorite books about Afghanistan. I love the movie, and it is a tragic story, but also a story of heroism, and Afghans, particularly Pashtun, have a thing called Pashtunwali. And there's a list of rules that I've mostly forgotten, but one is if you have a guest in your home, you must protect them. And that is what the Afghan who saved Marcus Luttrell did. And without him, Marcus surely would not have survived. So when you read this, and I highly recommend it, please remember, in late June 2005, the individuals who were killed, first on the mission and then on the rescue mission. And those individuals were Lieutenant Michael P. Murphy, SO2 Matthew Axelson, SO2 Danny Dietz, and then SOC Jacques Fontaine, SOCS Daniel Healy, Lieutenant Commander Eric Christensen, SO1 Jeffrey Lucas, Lieutenant Michael McGreevy Jr., SO2 James E. Suh, SO1 Jeffrey S. Taylor, SO2 Shane Patton, Staff Sergeant Seamus Gore, CW3 Corey Goodnature, Sergeant Kip Jacobs, Sergeant First Class Marcus Morales, Master Sergeant James Ponder III, Major Stephen Reich, Sergeant First Class Michael Russell, and CW4 Chris Schirkenbach. Again, any mistakes on names or ranks or dates is all mine. I did try to do my due diligence. So please take some time this Memorial Day to remember those we have lost and also take care of the ones who came back home. That's all for me. I'll be back later this week with a lighter video, but I did think it was important to do this on this Memorial Day. Happy reading.